everybody, this is Laura, City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today I have a video that I made for the Let's Get Organized Paper Crafting YouTube Hop. This is a monthly series in which we share organization methods for various aspects of our craft spaces. This month we're looking at dies, stamps, and embossing folders. Now, I'm not going to show you how I store my embossing folders. I only have a few and I just keep them in a plain plastic box. And I'm not going to show you how I store my stamps because I am reorganizing them right now and I'm still trying to think of how I can arrange them so that I can find which stamps I need when I need them. So that's a work in progress and hopefully I could share that with you at some time in the future. But I have completed my organization system for my dies and I'm very happy with that system and I wanted to show that to you today. I will put links in the description box for any products that are still available. So this is the way I store my dies on my shelves. I have an 8-cube calyx unit that is turned on its side, and I have 3 of the cubes that are dedicated to cutting dies. I am now using these plastic baskets. I used to use metal baskets or bins, and they did quite a bit of damage to the bottom of the shelving unit. I am going to flip this unit around. Maybe this summer I'll empty it all off and I'll flip it so that the damage will be on the underside. Actually, it'll be on that side of the shelving and I won't see it as much. But I have these plastic baskets and I got them from Amazon. I paid up a little bit for them because they were just the right size. There were a lot of baskets that were available that looked extremely similar to these, but they were a little more tapered and they didn't hold the pockets that I have my dies in. So they were just the right size, so I went ahead and purchased them from Amazon. But more recently, at work, I noticed that a coworker had a lot of her materials organized in baskets that looked very similar and they didn't look like they were tapered. And she said she got them at Costco. So I don't know if they're still available, but I'm sure that baskets like this are out there somewhere. I just found it convenient to order them online. So I'm sorry if the camera isn't steady on this part of the video. In a little while, I'm going to be going to my desk to show you some of the specifics of the system, and then I'll have the camera mounted. So I have all of my dies organized by category. And you can see the categories are written on the tabs. I also have them arranged in alphabetical order. And I was very careful to choose categories and labels that made sense to me, that would help me to locate the dies that I need. I had a few that I had to put a new label on because while I like the idea of the label that I used, it wasn't a label that was helpful for me. So for example, I had some of my leaves under tropical leaves, but I wouldn't think to look under tropical. I'm going to look under leaves when I'm looking for a leaf die. And so I switched that around and I organized it under leaves. And then I had a special pocket for the leaves that are tropical. I hope that that makes sense. So when I want a particular die, I will take out the pocket that it's in, and I will take the whole pocket out with me. I'll use the die, I'll put it back into the pocket, and then I'll return the whole pocket to the basket. That has helped me to keep everything quite organized. So it's a very simple system. I've had it for, I'd say, about 3 or 4 months now. It's been completed, everything has been organized, and I feel like it's going very well. I've been able to locate all the dies that I need. So I'm going to go to my desk now and I'm going to show you some specifics of the system. Here's an example of one of the pockets with the dies inside of it. I definitely didn't think of this idea. I saw a very, very similar idea on YouTube several years ago, and unfortunately I don't recall who the YouTuber was, but I switched up her idea to meet my needs. I started by buying some dry erase pockets. I'm sorry for the crinkling. This is the brand that I bought, but there are lots of different brands available. And these are used in the classroom for students. So you would slip a worksheet into it, and then students use erasable markers to write their answers on the plastic. But I love them for organizing paper crafts. They're, I think, relatively inexpensive, and they are a great size. I also use them to organize my paper scraps. You can buy them in all one color. I see them mainly available in black, and you could also get different colors. So for example, this is my scrap envelope or pocket for all of my pink pattern papers. And the fact that it is pink does help me to find it very quickly. And I think that it's a good size for scraps. It's not too big, it's not too small, and I can fit all my scraps in here. This is another system that really works well for me. I also purchased some sheets of magnets. These are one kind, they're Marietta magnetics, and these are 8 by 10 inch sheets. I have found that 8.5 by 11 inch sheets are also available. I like those better because I can fit more dies on them, and they will fit into these pockets. This must have just been what I was able to purchase. I find that the availability kind of fluctuates. I always buy these. They're a thickness of 30 mil. They also have them available in thinner 20, 25, but I find that the dies will stay better on the 30 mil. So these can be a little bit pricey, but for me, I think that it's worth it because all of my dies are organized. To label the pockets, I use my good old McGill punch, and I absolutely love this tab punch. It's definitely old, and I bought this on eBay, and I even have a backup because I use it so frequently in my craft room that I can't imagine not having it. So I have another one of those, and then I also use my Dymo label maker. My Dymo label maker is one of my favorite things. I think that if you want to make labels but you don't want to spend a ton of money, this is a really economical choice. I've had other label makers in the past, and this is by far my favorite. Yeah, like I said, it's very inexpensive to use. The unit itself is only about $30, and then the tapes are not that expensive either. And I feel like that's sometimes where they get you on the tapes, but I have definitely found that that's not the case with that label maker. So in order to label each of the pockets, I simply use some white cardstock. I punch out a tab, I fold it in half, I use some regular staples, staple it to the top of the pocket, and then I label it with a label from my Dymo. So then I arrange the dies on the magnetic sheet. Because I have a YouTube channel and I like to share the names and manufacturers of the dies that I use on my videos, I now keep the packaging of all the dies so I can remember that information. And I just tuck the packaging behind the magnetic sheet. This is absolutely not necessary, but it's just something that I like to do just because of the YouTube channel. I didn't always do this. I used to throw away the packaging, so I don't know the manufacturers of all of my dies, but that's something that I've started to do. I have certain dies that I use all the time, and I'm always looking for them, so I decided that instead of digging through my dies each time I needed them, that I would have one pocket that I used for my most used dies. These dies, they're branches. I bought these years ago on eBay. I'm pretty certain that they came directly from China. I haven't seen them since. I absolutely love them, and I use them on a lot of my layouts, so I am constantly searching for them. Sometimes I'll misplace them. So now I have a set place for them. I also use this die a lot, and then there are a few others here like the tag dies and the rectangle dies that are also ones that I use quite frequently. So I have all of those in one place. If at some point I stop using them and they're not dies that I need to have on hand so readily, I can organize them and put them back with the other dies that are similar to them. In order to keep my craft room looking somewhat organized most of the time anyway, I use this pocket and I tuck any new dies that I don't have time to organize in here. I keep this in the front of the third basket, and when I purchase dies, I will just slip them in here, and then all at once, when I have some time, I will put them onto the sheets where they belong. And as you can see, it's time for me to start taking these out of the envelope and put them where they go. But I like to have this that way. If I'm looking for a new die, I know it's going to be in here, and it keeps my craft room from being an absolute mess. I don't tend to use a lot of small layering dies that have to be pieced together. I have bought a few dies that have many tiny pieces, and I don't want them to get separated. These are different from most of the other dies that I have where there's lots of little pieces. So for these, I just leave these in the packages. And honestly, these are the only ones that I have that I felt I had to leave in the package. I purchased them at a really good buy. I'm not sure that I would use all of the dies in this die set, but I do find that it's important to keep all of those little dies together. If I bought a lot of these dies, I would have to have another way of storing them. But since I only have a couple of Christmas dies like this, I just incorporated them into the pockets. I just keep them without the magnetic piece in this pocket. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I love watching craft organization videos. I love to see how other crafters organize their things. I always get so many great ideas. So I hope that you'll take a look in the description box where you'll find links to all the other paper crafters who have created videos for this month's hop. I think you'll enjoy checking them out. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.